All right, 2019 Continental here. Starter keeps blowing the starter fuse, which is right here, which is that is going to be fuse 57, I believe. Keeps blowing, getting codes for starter performance. It's a 30 amp fuse. Pretty much to fix this, you gotta change the starter. Change the starters in the value of it, and not that bad of a job. Just gotta get some of this stuff out of your way. I'm gonna start with getting the air box out of the way. Just take the top off, make it easy. Take the hose clamp off the throttle body. Disconnect this one hose over here. Pull this hose out of here. Pull this push pin. Disconnect this. Lift this tab. Pull back. That's already off. Yeah, I'll get this all out of the way. We're just gonna loosen this hose clamp and pick up from there. All right, now that that's out of the way, you have these two, I believe these are 7 mils that are gonna come out of there. It's gonna normally be a 7 mil there too. And then, let me loosen those and I'll get back. All right, so with those two 7s out, you're gonna pop this up. This is a grommet that's holding this box down, which is normally really tight. I already popped it. You can just come around the sides, both hands, and just pull it up. And then just pull that back. And you're gonna be able to pull that right out. And then you're almost there. There's a starter right there. This is that grommet I was talking about that the air box pops into right there. You have to just, could be tight, could be not so tight. To get to the starter, normally you want to take the shifter linkage off, not this nut. Don't take that off. You're just gonna want to come right here and give this thing a pop. I need a screwdriver, like so, and that's it. Pops, little grommet. Try not to move this. Fuse your shifter lever. Then over here you have a 8 mil, and you're gonna take that nut out. You're gonna pop this out of your way. And that's just gonna allow you to sneak out the starter. And then at this step, if you haven't done it already, you're gonna want your battery disconnected, at least the positive cable, so that way these positive cables down here are not gonna get any voltage if they touch anything grounded down here. 8 mil extension down on the shifter hold down bolt. Get that loose. Take that bolt out. And make sure you don't touch that. So to get this shifter linkage off, hold down, you're just gonna get a screwdriver, come into this little opening right here, push against the plastic. It's gonna push a little pin back. While doing that, use your other hand to pull up on the actual switch, like so. And there it is, out of your way. From there, you can just put it out to the side, and we can start taking out our starter. So you could pop your shifter linkage right above your thermostat housing. Just pop it around this harness and get it up here. Rest it up there for now. Next, you're gonna just take out your starter bolts, which the only bolts you need to take out are gonna be this one and the one far left over there. 13 millimeter on the main power wire. Just a nut. Make sure your power wire is disconnected off the battery still. And the other one is going to be a 10 mil. You're gonna probably need a swivel socket. All right, got a 10 mil on a swivel on a 3-inch extension on a 1/4-inch ratchet. Takes that nut right out. Once it's loose, you can just do it by hand. Just like that. And then you pull your 2 wires completely off. Put them away. Make sure your power wire is disconnected from the battery. Here next, we're gonna grab a tool to pull these off and get to those bolts. You're gonna want to use a push pin tool or some long needle nose to pull that off, and then the other one you're just gonna push the harness out of the way when we get to it. All right, we got a 13 deep socket on the bolt to a long extension coming up to here. We're gonna get a 1/4 inch ratchet on there and break these loose. All right, so these 213s are pretty tight. You might want to use a 3/8 ratchet to get them loose, but we got them loose. We're gonna just bolt back these bolts out and show you how to get the starter out from here. All right, once you get your bolts out, we're gonna just kind of wiggle this thing out of here. To get it out of here is a little bit tricky. You're gonna wanna pick it up, turn it a little bit to the left. Make sure you're clearing the motor mount here, clearing your line over here. And just like that, we'll get that thing out of there. New one. All right, let's get the new one in. Gonna go in the same way. Gonna just turn it. Practically just falls right in. And you might have to get it above the actual ledge and just kind of wiggle it. See if I could do this with one hand. It's almost there. Let me use both hands and I'll get back to you. All right, we got it in. All I had to do was stick my hand back here, kind of pull up on the harness, this black harness right back here. Pull up on it a little bit, use your right hand to kind of push this through. Once you got it in, you should have free play. Make sure your wires are clear, not pinching anything on the block, and we'll get those bolts dropped in. All right, we just got our bolts back in. To get this one down here, I had to hold the harness again over and stick my hand through the right side and drop the bolt in. And on the other side, it was pretty basic, just stick it in, get it started. And we're gonna tighten these down first, and then we will get our wires on. All right, we got a 13 3/8 on there with a long extension, and then we have a torque wrench on here. If you don't have a torque wrench, you don't really have to worry about it. This isn't something that's really needed to be torqued, just needs to be tight. If you have one available, the torque is 35 foot-pounds. So we're gonna go ahead and torque these now. One. Two. And that's pretty much it for those bolts. Now we're just gonna grab our harness, tuck it up away. Make sure you take your nuts off first. I'm gonna have to get a socket on these. It's once again 13 and a 10. You're gonna leave that back nut though. Don't try and take the back nut off. You're just gonna want to take off the outer nut and the washer. Same with that one, only the outer nut and the washer. All right, now that the nuts are off, that's what it should look like. Have your 2 wires right here. If there's any corrosion or green on these, you should be wire brushing them, cleaning them off. And now we're just going to pop both those through, and we're gonna get the nut started now. All right, with a 10 mil and a 1/4 inch 3-inch extension, get the 10 mil tight. The 13, get on the other nut. All right, guys, with those 2 nuts tightened up, put your little harness cover back on the bolt, and you're all done with this starter job. Now you just got to go back together with everything. Drop your pin out, come down. You're gonna just want to pop this on by hand, just like that. You're gonna come back here, line up this as so, and just push it down. Just like that, clips into place. Put your 7mm bolt back in, or this is actually an 8mm bolt. And I'm gonna tighten up that bolt and get back to you. All right, after you got all that tightened in, we drop the air box in, pop it into those 2 grommets again. Make sure you pop it under this grill piece. Start your 2 7mm longer black bolts. If you have the 7mm that goes there, airbox is next. This is all pretty self-explanatory. pop it into these side clips. Make sure you pop your PCV on to the hose. Make sure you pop your brake booster line on. Once you got all that done, tighten up your 7 mils. We're going to tighten up our hose clamp on the throttle body. So pop this line in, just move the intake over, slide it in first. Just push this in, just a resistance fit. And then make sure you grab your left sides into those clips so that this side will clip in. If this side's not clipping in, it's because that side's not popped in all the way. And then after that, after you got all these tightened up, make sure you tighten up the 10 millimeter on your battery. Right here. And if you had the same starter blowing fuse issue, then you're gonna have to put a new fuse in it for it to start. So that way, you know, the fuse that's blown in there isn't gonna work anymore. So gotta replace the fuse and all should be good.